So hi and welcome to today's video. So today I'm actually going to be showing you my winter prep detailing routine on my MX-5. So basically obviously I'm just going to start by washing it, but as you can see here the car wasn't overly dirty, there was a few water spots, a little bit of mud kicked up behind the tyres, and the tyres did look like they needed a little bit of a clean as well. But generally this would just get it prepped for winter, making sure it's properly protected and clean basically as well to start with. So here you can just see I'm basically just going to power wash the car down using my Karcher K4 and just making sure that I'm removing some loose dirt and dust before I continue with the pre-wash. I'm going to use a snow foam in this car, so snow foam that I'm actually going to use is Bilt Hamber Auto Foam. So if you've not already checked out my review of this, then definitely be sure to check it out on the channel. I'll leave a link in the description and the card on the screen. But it's actually one of my favourite snow foams because it just has such great cleaning power. So really kind of if you're looking for a snow foam, it's not super thick but is offering really good actual cleaning ability. It's just going to make the contact wash basically a lot safer and really kind of reduce the risk of scratches and swirls in the later wash process. Then definitely give this a look because it's a really great product to try. As you can see here, give it around a dwell time of around probably 3 minutes. It was a reasonably warm day, so I didn't want it to sit on there for too long. But to be honest, this product doesn't really need it to get a good kind of clean out of it. So just went ahead after that and rinsed the car down, just making sure that there wasn't any residue left, as it is quite strong product, so you don't want to leave it on the surface for too long. So the next thing was just to go ahead and do the wheels. So for this I was just using a normal car shampoo, so I was using Chem Super Suds for this and using a microfiber wash mitt. So I use these yellow microfiber Chanel wash mitts on the wheels and the green ones on the paint. I know a lot of people use brushes, I do still use them, but I just like to start off with a wash mitt. I find it's kind of a safe way of doing it. But still quite effective, particularly on this sort of wheel design. It's quite a basic design and it allows me to get behind the spokes by using the mitt as well. So then I went ahead and used a detailing brush. So this was one by Valet Pro. It's quite a soft brush, and use it to get into the lug nuts and also into the corners of the wheel, the bits where kind of the wash mitt isn't really going to reach as effectively. The worst thing is when you power wash it down and realise that the wash mitt didn't get everything and you have to go in again with the brush. So just doing it here to make sure they are thoroughly cleaned. Then, as it was a reasonably warm day at this stage, I was just going to power wash that down just to keep them clean, just working one wheel at a time really, I found was the best method. Then I just went in with an alloy brush, so I really need to upgrade this. I'm looking to get some new alloy brushes. I know the Easy or EZ, I don't know, I've heard people say both wheel brushes look really good, and I'm sort of torn between those and the wheel woolies, so if anyone wants to give me some recommendations of either which to choose out of those or any others that I've not thought of in the description, then I'm definitely open to hearing because I do need to get some new ones. But this alloy brush, to be honest, does a decent job. It wasn't that expensive, picked it up pretty cheap, and it allows me to get into the barrel of the wheel. So I normally do this every time I wash the car, to be honest, so it generally stays pretty clean. So it wasn't too much to kind of tackle that. And then I just went ahead and used a brush on the wheel arches. So most of the wheel arches, the front ones and half of the back ones, are actually just plastic, and the rest are fabric, which are a bit of a pain. But I can get in with the brush pretty well and just give them a bit of a scrub and tidy them up. And then it was just time again to power wash everything down and making sure I was kind of getting into the wheel arch properly, and making sure there was no kind of soap residue just dwelling and sitting there. So then I wanted to give the wheels quite a thorough clean here, so what I actually did next is just give them a spray with Korrosol, which is now in Fallout Remover by Bilt Hamber. It's a really good one, safe to use on paint and the wheels, so I just gave them a quick spray, left it to dwell for about 2 to 3 minutes, it didn't need long, and then just sprayed it down. So there wasn't really much coming off here, but I just wanted to give them a really thorough clean and make sure that I'd got everything that potentially the shampoo couldn't handle. So I went ahead and then moved on to the tyres, which probably should have done first, but messed it up and did it second. Basically just used Bilt Hamber Surfex HD here and around 10% concentration, sprayed that onto the wheels and worked it in with a stiff brush. Again, the wheels are fairly well maintained. I apply tyre dressing every week and give them a scrub down. Not as often as I probably should, but every couple of months really, and I find that tyre gel is enough to kind of spruce them up. So just removing that and making sure they had a really deep clean, as this was kind of what the video was all about. Then the next thing to do was go ahead and wash the car. So for this I used, for the first step anyway, I used Chem Super Suds. So I used around 3 pumps in about 10 litres, so reasonably concentrated. It's a really good shampoo. If you haven't checked out my review of that, I'll leave a link in the description. But as you can see, it's very, very foamy. It offers really good lubrication and it just feels generally quite safe to use on the paintwork. I really like the shampoo. It's good value for money as well. So check it out if you haven't seen that video already and you were looking for just a pH neutral shampoo that's just going to do all the basics right and not leave any kind of coatings or wax on the paintwork. So here you can see I was basically working sort of top to bottom really. And just I was using multiple wash mitts rather than the 2-bucket wash method I kind of prefer. But once I'd done with that, I just went ahead and power washed the car down, just making sure that everything was kind of removed at this stage before I moved on to a more thorough wash using this product. So this is actually Garage Therapy Decontamination Shampoo. So if you haven't tried any Garage Therapy products, then you're missing out, and I'll leave a link in the description to my review of this one. But basically it's a really kind of cleansing shampoo, so you can use it to handle really disgusting cars, or you can use it to actually sort of help to strip wax and sealants. It won't strip everything, but it definitely helps in situations like this. So I actually, rather than using it as a typical car shampoo, just went ahead and applied it in a foam cannon. So in around 1 to 10 ratio in the foam cannon was what I went for, and then I just basically went over it again with a new microfiber wash mitt, just to make sure that I'd covered all the areas and was doing a good job at actually stripping the wax and sealant on this. So actually I think at the time of doing this video there was Gyeon Wet Coat on it, and it was only Gyeon Wet Coat on its own, so it wasn't too bad to kind of get rid of that. It did a good job at kind of killing that sealant off. Whereas Gyeon Wet Coat's not the most durable of products. It was something that I just put on to kind of tide me over until I made this video. So I applied Gyeon Wet Coat to the wheels actually, just the rims, and made sure I basically sprayed it on, not using too much, and then rinsed it off immediately, as I've not got an actual ceramic coating on the wheels. And I'm planning to get on some new alloys probably next year now, but I'm not overly attached to these, so I'm not applying ceramic coating at this stage. But Gyeon Wet Coat does a pretty good job of the wheels, and I normally apply it monthly. But this was a good time to do it after I'd done that iron fallout removal and decontamination on that. So then it was just time to actually dry the paintwork. So here I was using the Ragmaster Pluffle, which is a really, really nice drying towel, my favourite at the moment. Very reabsorbent, very soft, a good size as well. Some people might find this a bit small, but for me, being absolutely tiny, I find it quite manageable, so I prefer this particularly when I'm working on smaller cars like this. So the next thing I wanted to do was just dress the tyres. I know this is probably a bit of a weird thing people do at this stage, but I like getting the tyres sorted and getting kind of the messier steps out of the way. So I used Chem's Tire Gel, which I've done a review of, I'll leave a link to that. But it's a really, really good tyre gel in terms of leaving that nice finish that's not too shiny, but it definitely looks like the tyres have been dressed. It's easy to apply. I just use a foam applicator, and it's reasonably durable. I apply it every time after washing, but it does tend to last. If you power wash the wheels down, you can still see it, so it's a pretty good one. And then I just went ahead and wanted to protect the trim, so I've not got anything too fancy for this. I just use Autoglym Bumper and Tire Gel, which is one of the first products I picked up a few years ago when I was actually starting detailing. It's just from Whole Foods, and it serves me pretty well. It's not a bad one to use. So the next thing to do, I wanted to do anyway, was just sort the glass out. So I used Chem's Clearview Glass Cleaner. It's a water repellent glass cleaner, so I really, really like these kind of products, particularly on the windscreen and even on the side windows, back windows as well. I find that they're really, really useful because they help keep it clean and also just make it a little bit safer for driving. I just prefer these kind of water repellent glass cleaners. It also does have good cleaning ability as well though. So the next thing I wanted to do was address the exhaust tips. So I actually just washed these with a microfiber wash mitt, as I did with the alloys. And then I just wanted to put a sealant on them. So I put Poorboy's wheel sealant on them as it works on metals. There's a debate as to how much difference it actually makes, probably very minimal, but it makes me feel like I'm doing something, and it's any excuse to spend longer detailing, to be honest. So I just applied that using a microfiber and then went ahead 10 minutes later and buffed it off, and they look pretty good. So now it's just on to actually protecting the paintwork. So for this I was using Garage Therapy ceramic sealant. So if you've not already seen my application video on this, then definitely check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. It just sort of talks about how you actually apply it and my overall first impressions. But effectively what you do is you just go over it and apply it with a microfiber applicator. Then you just literally wait for it to haze, which normally takes around 30 to 60 seconds, and you level it. So at this point you're just very lightly going over it. You're not trying to remove products, but just to remove the high spots at this stage. And then you leave it just anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. It really kind of depends on the temperatures you're working in. If it's a bit warmer, then you can sort of lean towards that 1 minute mark, and if it's a bit cooler, then go for 2 minutes. And then after that, you just go ahead with a fresh microfiber towel and buff that away, and it leaves a really, really nice sort of clear, crisp finish, and it's really, really glossy. So I was very, very impressed with this product. In terms of kind of the visual appearance of it, it's easy to apply, it's not a difficult process, and it doesn't take that long. Normally takes, I think to do this car, it probably took me around 15 minutes just to go over the entire car once, so it's very, very easy. And I think using a microfiber applicator really helps with the coverage and just really helps you kind of spread the product evenly and get a really good finish out of it. So I think first thing you'll kind of notice if you use this product is actually how slick it feels and how glossy it looks. And it's something that gets better over time actually, as you'll see with the after shots. So really what you're supposed to do is apply 2 layers of this and leave a few hours in between each layer. So that's actually what I did here. I went over and applied the first layer, and then I waited and went ahead and applied the second layer. So as you can tell at this point it was getting quite dark, so I had to sort of rush a little bit. Didn't manage to get too many clips of it, but generally the process is easy. But the main thing you've got to really remember with this is to get the preparation right. You've got to make sure that whatever you've got underneath has been removed basically. So you don't want to really be applying this on top of something unless it's a full-blown ceramic coating, otherwise you'll notice that durability just won't be as good and the products might slip off easily. So just make sure you get the prep right, make sure you're left with really sort of flat paint that's just not repelling water at all, and then you'll get a really good finish out of this. So again, just going in with the second layer, very, very simple. Took again just 15 minutes. So the overall process, if you want to do 2 layers, is probably going to take you maybe slightly upwards of half an hour if you've got a larger car than this, which probably most people do. But it is an easy process. It's quite an enjoyable process, to be honest, and you'll definitely be impressed with the results of it if you try it yourself. It was really, really nice. You could sort of see the gloss here after the first layer, but then what I actually did is took the photos the next day in the morning, just because the light was getting away from me and I couldn't get any good photos, but it really allowed the product to cure and got a fantastic finish out of it. It's probably the glossiest I've ever seen the car, and this was out without actually polishing it first, so paintwork was in good condition, but I was really, really impressed with how slick it was and how good the paint actually looked afterward. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Definitely be sure to hit the subscribe button if you are interested in content like this, you want to see more of these kind of videos. I've got plenty more to come. I'll leave a link in the description to all the reviews and products that I've mentioned. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.